Please. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Public Health, University of Indonesia, who is in this occasion is represented by the Vice Dean of the Education, Research, and Students Affairs, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Asih Setiarini, Master of Science, the distinguished head of Nutrition Department, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Trini Sudiarti, Master of Science, the head of Nutrition Science Study Program, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Diah Mulyawati Utari, Master Kesehatan. Eminent speakers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Faculty Mobility Program. Let's give a round of applause. My name is Joylyn Sherapin, the Master of Ceremony of today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, today's academic exploration is held by the Nutrition Department, Universitas Indonesia, and supported by the Education Director of Universitas Indonesia. It is also part of the Faculty of Public Health, UI, SEMO series. The main topic of today's agenda is the obesity management and nutrition challenges in Malaysia. Honorable guests, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, today's agenda is commenced by a welcoming remarks by the Dean of Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, who is represented by the Vice Dean of the Educational Research and Student Affairs, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Asih Setiarini, Master of Science. Please welcome Ibu Asih to the front, please.
Terima kasih. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Associate Professor Wong Jing Ing, PhD, from the Center for Community Health Studies, Faculty of Health Sciences, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, and then the Honorable Professor, Associate Professor Dr. Gita Apanah, MSc, from Department of Nutrition, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, University Putra, Malaysia. Also the Honorable Ibu Dr. Trini Sudiarti as a Head of Public Health Nutrition Department, Ibu Diah Utari as a Head of Nutrition Study Program, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, and Ibu Dina as a lecturer. Also all students from Public Health Faculty, Universitas Indonesia, and all participants. First of all, praise be to God who has given us blessing and health so that we can gather together on this nutrition lecture. On behalf of Public Health Universitas Indonesia, we would like to thank to Department of Public Health Nutrition for coordinating and organizing the Studium General with the theme of academic exploration, obesity management, and nutritional challenges in Malaysia. No, we represent as a faculty, but actually I'm belonging to Department of Public Health Nutrition. So we would like also express my gratitude to all you, Associate Professor Wong Jing Ing, PhD, and then also thank you also for Associate Professor Dr. Gita Apanah, MSc. Yeah, I think we was pleasure here to give a lecture regarding the obesity in Malaysia. As we know that Indonesia, we also still has a problem with nutrition, not only double burden but triple burden. No, so we still facing with undernutrition, overnutrition, and also micronutrient deficiencies. and I think we just got from Ministry of Health the data from Indonesia Health Survey just launched last month, I think. So we have prevalence of obesity for under 5 children around 4.2%. And then for the children age 5 until 13, around 16.2 getting increase. And then for the adolescent, I think 16 to 18, around 12.1. And the last one is, I think is make more worrying for for the adult is around 37.8. So this is the data from Indonesian Health Survey ya. Adik-adik sekalian ya, ini saya rasa sangat memprihatinkan ya. Prevalensi obesitas lebih dari 18 tahun itu overweight and obesitas, overweight around 14.4%, and then for obese around 23.4%. So for the overweight and obese around 37.8%, more than one third. Ya, ini pekerjaan kita ya, adik-adik sekalian ya, obesitas. Yeah, I think I will not go into detail for this obesity because now we have two experts here. So maybe we can learn from a very close country with us, Malaysia. Yeah, we know that I think we very close with Malaysia. So we have to learn more about how to manage, prevent. I think is better than address for the obesity. Again, with to Prof. Wong and Prof. Gita for your coming and you share your knowledge and experience. Yeah, and then finally for all participants, enjoy the fruitful lecture. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu Asi. Now we have come to our main session, the lecture session. All presentation and discussions will be moderated by our beloved moderator, Ibu Nurul Dina Rahmawati, MSc. Allow me to read her bio. Ibu Dina is a part of Nutrition Science Department family. Currently, she serves through the academic path as a junior lecturer here at the Department of Nutrition Science. She pursued her master degree in clinical and public health nutrition from University College London, United Kingdom, and her undergraduate degree here in nutrition science in Universitas Indonesia. She has done such a remarkable job writing, teaching, and researching in so many various themes, including adolescent nutrition, maternal and child nutrition, and also non-communicable disease. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our moderator, Ibu Nurul Dina Rahmawati.
Thank you very much, Olin, for the very kind introduction. Ibu Trini, my respected senior, Ibu Dia, Ibu Asih, of course, Dr. Gita and Dr. G. Thank you very much for being here, and all of my beloved students. Everyone had good rest? Doesn't seem so because you're so sleepy today. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. I can still see someone actually looking at their laptop. Maybe they're doing something. Do I give you any tasks? Yeah? Why are you opening your laptop? Are you note something? Do you take note something? No? So why you open your laptop? some tasks. Not for me, yeah? Okay, just not talk about that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, currently I'm having a very honorable job here to deliver our two distinguished guest lecture. So the first one is Dr. Wong Ji-in. She is actually the associate professor and head of nutrition science program from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And she also had work in a research center called Center for Community Health Studies in the Faculty of Health Science, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. She was actually graduated from University Kebangsaan Malaysia as well for her bachelor degree, just like me. So you come back to your alma mater, right? Yay! In 2005, and Master of Science from University of Glasgow, Scotland, and PhD in Human Nutrition, University of Otago, New Zealand, in 2013. Her research specialization is actually development and evaluation of dietary methods. So, guys, if you need someone who can give you any maybe reference letter, someone to talk with about dietary quality and dietary pattern analysis, I can't read it all because we can finish it until next week. And anthropometry, physical activity assessment, and compositional data analysis in time use application, Dr. G is the right person. So without any further ado, I would like to give 30 minutes of presentation to Dr. G. And guys, please prepare your best question because after this, we're gonna have maybe 30 minutes of discussion of Q&A. The floor is yours, Dr. G.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Dr. Dina, for the very kind introduction. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Thanks for coming on a Saturday morning. It's not easy, I understand. So give yourself a big round of applause for doing this today. Honorable Bu Asi, Bu Dia, and all the respectable members of the program and the faculty members and all students. Thanks for having us. First of all, I would like to just thank the Faculty of Public Health for inviting me as part of this faculty mobility program. It is my honor to just talk to you, share with you something about nutritional issues in Malaysia. I hope you can see my slides. I promise to keep my slides simple and digestible because you just had your breakfast, right? So I'm Jean. I'm associate professor, also the head of nutrition science program. It is a 4-year honors degree at the University Kebangsaan Malaysia. So University Kebangsaan Malaysia is also the National University of Malaysia. My campus is based in Kuala Lumpur. So as part of today's lecture, I'll talk to you about maybe starting with talking about Malaysia. Okay, so the demographics about Malaysia, the nutrition status in the region that we live in, the key nutritional issues in Malaysia, the nutrition transition experience, and finally a short conclusion. Is that all right? Yeah. So just give me raise your hands if you have been to Malaysia. Yes, some of you have been to Malaysia. Yes, we are neighbors, right? So have you heard of Malaysia or maybe hear the news about Malaysia? So Malaysia, as you know, is a small country relative to Indonesia. So Malaysia comprises the West and the East Malaysia. So I'm based in the west of Malaysia. It is also called the Peninsula Malaysia, and Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. So in terms of area, we are just 330,000 kilometers square kilometers, and we have around 33 million people. Now, what does it mean? As a multinational and multi-ethnic countries, we have 3 main ethnic groups. The Bumiputras, including the Malays, as the majority, 70% of the country. 23% are Chinese. I'm a Malaysian Chinese. I hope you maybe you recognize that. We have 7% of Indians, Malaysian Indians, and also others around 1%. All right. So talking to you about demography of Malaysia, the easier for you to understand this is to actually compare it to Indonesia. So if I put these two countries together, we share a lot of similarities being multi-ethnic, right? So Malaysia, in terms of size, I think we are 6 times smaller compared to Indonesia. In terms of population, we are 7 times smaller. So that means we are actually relatively a smaller country in size and in number of population. We are a diverse country, but not as diverse as Indonesia. I think Indonesia has over 300 distinct ethnic groups. Malaysia, we have just over maybe 70 ethnic groups. 75% of Malaysia is actually urbanized. Most people live in urban cities. In terms of income level, based on the World Bank classification, Malaysia is an upper middle income country. Okay, so we share a lot of similarities. Just bear in mind that when I talk about the problems in Malaysia, that Malaysia is a relatively small nation compared to Indonesia. So the numbers in absolute numbers, the absolute numbers you're going to see is going to be smaller. Okay, so both Malaysia and Indonesia, we are both located in East Asia and Pacific region. So according to a report in 2020, not so good news, it says that in this region, including Malaysia and Indonesia, we experience stagnation. It means we have not been able to stop we have not been able to stop stunting, wasting, and micronutrient deficiency in this region. And we are also living in a region where there is the fastest growing rates of overweight and obesity in the world. I think just now, Ibu Asi talked about your latest prevalence about obesity in this country. You later realize that most countries in this region actually experience increase in overweight and obesity. So if we zoom down to the Southeast Asia region, okay, there are 11 countries. So Malaysia and Indonesia are two of the 11 countries in this region. You can see that we share a lot of similarities, including the nutritional issues in this region. So to put things in perspective, let's see the Southeast Asia in terms of a prevalence of stunting, wasting, and overweight compared to the global average. So in this region, according to the report in 2023, which is also the latest report, the UNICEF WHO International Bank, the World Bank report, it is stated that stunting on average, the prevalence is 26.4%. But this is already higher than the global average of 22.3%. In Southeast Asia region, 7.8% of children are wasted, and this is higher than the global average of 6.8%. And overweight, 7.4% of children are overweight, and this is also higher than the global average of 5.6%. What does it tell us? It tells us that we in this region are not doing very well in terms of nutrition status. So just to elaborate, today I'm going to talk a lot about numbers because we're talking about nutritional issues in the country, right? So I'm going to cite a lot of numbers that are taken from our national survey. In Indonesia, your national survey is called the Survey Kesehatan Indonesia. So it's called the Riskesdas, right? In Malaysia, it's called the National Health and Morbidity Survey, or in short, we call it NHMS. Just to let you know, NHMS was previously conducted every 10 years, not very frequent. But since 2011, it has changed where it's done every 4-year cycle. So for example, NHMS 2011, NHMS 2015, NHMS 2019, and NHMS 2023 are the 4 main national surveys that measures comprehensively on the status of health in the country. And every year, there are smaller surveys that focus on specific areas. For example, we work in the area of nutrition. In Malaysia, the last nutrition-specific survey was conducted in 2014, NHMS 2014. Sorry, if I can show you here. That was the Malaysian Adult Nutrition Survey, NHMS 2014. And the next one, I'm happy to announce that it's going to be this year, thankfully, because we really need information. So in nutrition survey, when it's specifically on nutrition survey, you get more information on what actually the people eat. So we get the dietary records done, etc. So we get more information than purely the status only. Okay, so now let's talk about nutritional status in Malaysia. So the easiest is to go by age group. So if you look at children under the age of 5 years, this is our status over the past six surveys. If you can see, the first one, the yellow line shows stunting. Stunting is a persistent, very stubborn issue in Malaysia. So currently, based on the latest survey of NHMS 2022, 1 in 5 Malaysian children is stunted. Now, this is a serious issue in Malaysia. I know Indonesia has also bigger problems. I think 1 in 3 Indonesian children are stunted. But in the Malaysian context, being a higher upper middle income country, we have this problem which has not been resolved it has not got better. It has got worse over time. So currently at 21.2%, this is the prevalence of stunting in Malaysia. But in terms of wasting, there is a reduction over time. Currently, we have 11% of children that are wasted. In terms of underweight, we have a little bit increase in terms of underweight. The latest is 15%, whereby in 2006, it was around 13%. So in terms of overweight, thankfully, we managed to maintain no increase in overweight. What about older children? Let's talk about school children, the preschool children and those undergoing the primary school and the secondary school. So in terms of stunting, there's an obvious reduction in terms of stunting. Thinness, there's a little bit increase. Overweight, there's an increase, and obesity, there's an increase. So this is the current problem, not just in Malaysia, but it's also in Southeast Asia region. So just bear in mind, think about it, okay? In terms of children, this is the current trend now. Adults. Now, adults, underweight has reduced over time. For overweight, we currently we have around 30% of adults. Adults means those that are aged 18 years and above who are actually overweight. Okay, so obesity, we have around 19.7% of of adults who are obese. And also in terms of abdominal obesity, which is measured using waist circumference, you use a waist girth, you put a tape around the waist. So if a person, a man is more than 90 centimeter or a woman is more than 80 centimeter, we say that a person has abdominal obesity. So in Malaysia, around 52.6 or 1 in 2 Malaysian adults are seen to have central obesity or abdominal obesity. So this is a serious issue if you look at this graph. Now, anemia, as we know, so we know about the general nutritional status using the global indicators that we are all familiar with. When we look at anemia, anemia is still also a very persistent problem in Malaysia. Our national survey shows that anemia can go as high as 46% among children less than 5 years. That means 4 out of 10 children under the age of 5 would have anemia. The most common form of anemia in Malaysia is iron deficiency anemia. Okay, for adults, the adolescents around 20% prevalence-wise. Adult is around 21%. Women of reproductive age is the group that is most affected by anemia. So women of reproductive age are those aged between 15 to 49 years. Okay, the prevalence is double the men of similar age. For elderly, it's around 1 in 3, 25%, 1 in 4 elderly that are having the problems of anemia. I'm highlighting anemia because I think anemia is the only micronutrient deficiency that seems to be persistent regardless of whether you are in a low-income country, middle-income country, or even high-income country. And it is indiscriminate. It affects not just only the poor, it also affects the rich. Okay, it doesn't affect just the young, it also affects the old. So it is a problem that we are trying to address. Now, in terms of to know the nutritional status of a nation, you also need to know what is the prevalence of non-communicable disease, NCDs, right? So these are example of diet-related NCDs, and what I've put here are the trends over the 3 surveys, the latest being the 2019 survey, because the 2022 survey result has not been officially released yet, unfortunately. So, but just a glance, if you look at my slides, then you realize that, okay, diabetes is on the rise, okay, 18.3%. Hypertension is 30%. That means 1 in 3 Malaysian adults will have issues with hypertension or high blood pressure. And you know what? The worst problem about this is that 50% of these 30% do not know that they have hypertension. They are undiagnosed hypertension. Okay. And hypercholesterolemia or dyslipidemia, we have around 38.1%. Okay. So we have the increasing problems of diabetes. Our hypertension seems to be coming down, and hypercholesterolemia seems to be inconsistent in terms of trend. So if we put this in a big picture, we know that in Malaysia, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer, meaning that many Malaysians die because of cardiovascular disease that can be stroke or coronary heart disease. If we put this in number, we know that we look at the risk factors, the three major risk factors, the hypertension, diabetes, and cholesterol. They are the risk factors of CVD or cardiovascular disease. So 1.7 million people or 8.1% of Malaysians actually have all these three risk factors. Okay. And 3.4 millions actually have two major risk factors. So this is the current problem now. If you walk into Malaysia, if you come to visit Malaysia, it is now official that 3 out of 4 Malaysians would have either have hypertension, diabetes, or hypercholesterolemia, overweight or obese. 3 out of 4 Malaysian adults. Okay, so it is a big issue. So this is a rising burden of NCD. If you look at the chart just now, I think just now Bu Asid mentioned that the prevalence of overweight and obesity is also increasing in this country. In Malaysia, officially 1 in 2 Malaysian adults are either overweight or obese. So 1 in 5 have diabetes, 1 in 3 have hypertension, 2 in 5 have hypercholesterolemia, and 3 in 10 have anemia. So all these numbers mean that the probability of meeting someone with the major risk factors for CVD is very high, 3 in 4 adults. In 2018, 2018 is not a good year for Malaysia based on health reports. Okay, in 2018, the WHO, World Health Organization, released a report on non-communicable disease country profiles. And in that report, it is said that Malaysia is the fattest nation. Fattest nation in terms of the prevalence of obesity that is defined by body mass index more than 30. We have 15% during that time. I think just now Bu Asi mentioned that Indonesia now have 18%. Was it? Obesity. Yeah. If that's true, then 14. So Malaysia is still leading the chart then. So was it obesity? I think you have 23. Oh, 23%. Okay, if let's say that is done in 2018, that time Malaysia was 15%, Indonesia was 7%. And today, Indonesia is 23%. It would have topped the chart, okay? But we don't want to win this kind of chart. Malaysia wants to win in Thomas Cup. We don't want to win in this fattest nation chart. So in 2018, it was said that among the Southeast Asian country, Malaysia is the fastest nation, okay? And also, there's another report in 2018. This is the Global Nutrition Report 2018. It says that among all the 141 countries, among the data of 141 countries, there are 41 countries that has the issues of triple burden of malnutrition. Now, double burden of malnutrition and triple burden of malnutrition can be defined very differently according to different reports. According to this 2018 report, it is defined by a nation having stunting, prevalence of stunting in children less than the age of 5 more than 20%, anemia in women of reproductive age more than 20%, and also overweight in adult women more than 35%. So if a country meet these 3 criteria, then they are said to have triple burden of malnutrition. So in that report, Malaysia is the only Southeast Asian country that has triple burden of malnutrition. I'm sure you were wondering, what about Indonesia? Indonesia in that report actually has double burden of malnutrition. Okay, and Malaysia has triple burden of malnutrition in that 2018 report. I guess the concern is first that Malaysia is the only Southeast Asia country in the triple burden list, which means that we are probably having the worst kind of nutrition status. But also in that list of the triple burden countries, most of it is dominated by African countries. And Malaysia is, I think, was the only few high middle income country that has this triple burden of malnutrition. So 2018 was a slap in the face of the Ministry of Health, because that means that, as a nation, we have not been doing well in the report, in the health report of the country. So you may argue and say, oh, that was 2018, maybe it's better now. That's what I thought. So a recent report that is just released this February 2024, it is done by the NCD Risk Collaborative Group. It is published in Lancet. It talks about the evolving landscape of global malnutrition. Basically, they analyzed 200 countries, 200 countries over a span of 20 over years. So it's from 1990 to 2022. They measure all these countries. They look at their prevalence of underweight and overweight, and they identify countries with double burden of malnutrition. They also not only look at whether the country has double burden of malnutrition, but they also look at the trend of malnutrition, double burden of malnutrition. So in that report, I just find where is Malaysia. So it's not so, it's quite upsetting to say, to see that it was mentioned and cited in the article saying that the largest absolute increase in the proportion of double burden from obesity were in countries in South Asia, Southeast Asia, e.g. Malaysia. So it also mentioned that there are some countries that have increased in proportion of people who are obese, and that has also led to an increase in their double burden of malnutrition. So this is the country report that you can download from this Lancet paper. So in this country report, this is Malaysian's profile. So this is for adult age 20 years and above. For women, you can see that there is a reduction in thinness over the years from 1990 to 2020. There's an increase in obesity prevalence, and overall, there's an increase in double burden of malnutrition. The similar trend is also observed in men, whereby there's a decrease in thinness, there's an increase in obesity, but overall, there's an increase in double burden of malnutrition. In this report, what they highlighted also is the ranking of the countries by region. So if we look at Southeast Asia, so Malaysia ranked number 2, just behind our neighboring country, Brunei. And so for this double burden of malnutrition, we rank basically number 2 in Southeast Asia. We don't want to win in this kind of ranking. Indonesia actually also has similar issue, but Indonesia actually ranked lower compared to Malaysia, which also marked that Malaysia has a problem. We have increased trend of double burden of malnutrition. In a similar report, they also look at not just adult, but the younger children. So these are age 5 to 19 years. So again, Malaysia topped the chart by being, not top the chart, we are the second on the chart in Southeast Asia. So we have, for example, a reduction of thinness of 2 to 5 percentile point. But we have increase of obesity, 15 to 17 percentage point. When this happens, it also means that there will be increase in the prevalence of double burden of malnutrition. So that happens to the girls. There's an increase in trend. Sorry, I go back to the previous slide. There's an increase in the trend of double burden of malnutrition for the girls and also for the boys. In my slide, I also highlighted, Indonesia, just for a comparison purpose, knowing where we stand in terms of health status of the nation. Okay, so Malaysia among the 200 countries, we stand at 50th percentile for the 50th ranking out of 200 for the girls. For the boys, we stand at 45 out of 200 countries. Okay, so all in all, if you put things together, if we just monitor our progress towards the global nutrition targets, we are not doing very well. So as you know, in 2012, the World WHO World Assembly has established six global nutrition targets. They are related to mother, infant, and young child nutrition. So the six targets include reducing stunting, reducing wasting, no increase in overweight, reducing low birth weight, increasing exclusive breastfeeding, and reducing anemia. So there are certain percentage that are targeted globally. So that's why we call it a global nutrition targets. So if you look at this report in terms of progressing in meeting the global nutrition targets, we are only on course for one indicator, which is childhood overweight. But this is referring to children less than the age of 5 years. Okay, we didn't do well for 5 to 17 years, if you recall my statistics earlier. So as a nation, this is something that is concerning. So I think you would know by now that Malaysia, like many other countries in this world, is experiencing something called the nutrition transition. So nutrition transition is now considered a global phenomena that often accompany with urbanization, globalization, and internationalization. So as a country become wealthier or richer, or economically more independent, they also have a change in dietary patterns and also the physical activity patterns. So usually the shift is from the predominantly, from undernutrition problem to become, more dominant in problems of overweight, obesity, and NCD. So if you refer to my previous slides, all the different charts and all the different trends, Malaysia definitely is undergoing very rapid nutrition transition. Let me just give you a little bit more appraisal of our diets. I think we all share a lot of similarities in terms of what we love to eat for food, right? So historically, Malaysia and Indonesia, we share a lot of similar and favorite food. So this is a glimpse of our favorite breakfast food. I hope you had your breakfast. Yeah. Uh, so, uh, so this is our three rated, according to a paper, a national survey. These are said to be the favorite breakfast item consumed by Malaysian adults. But in that paper, which actually look at a national representative samples of adults, they look at what they eat for breakfast and they evaluate what is the nutrient content of their breakfast. It is concluded in the paper saying that Malaysian breakfasts are found to be nutritionally unbalanced, which is rich in fat, saturated fat, total sugar, and sodium. You recognize our national dish is nasi lemak, okay? I think you have similar one, nasi uduk here. And then we like our kueh. We like our very, high fat, high sugary kueh. We also like our pancakes, our roti canai, okay? So these are typical kind of breakfast item. In that paper, it was said that Malaysia's adult, on average, consume 26% of the daily energy intake from breakfast. If breakfast is a good indicator of nutrient quality, then we fail in these nutrient quality indicators. 26% of our calories come from daily breakfast, and according to global survey, most people in their country consume 20% at most for breakfast. So Malaysians like to eat like king. It's okay if you eat like king for breakfast, but we also eat like king for lunch and for dinner. So we tend to overindulge in our food. So I guess the number says it all. Our national surveys showed that for adolescents or teenagers aged 13 to 17 years, 1 in 3 would consume carbonated or sugar-sweetened beverages every day. 1 in 3, okay? 77% do not consume enough milk and dairy products. So that means 2/3, 2 in 3 teens do not have enough milk and dairy products. What about adults? Adult is worse. For adults, 46%, according to our last nutrition survey, 46% would have high-fat food daily. It is not surprising. I think the number is probably higher than this. 56% would have high sugary drink, and 64% would be eating out at least once daily. It has been said that eating out is not a problem, but about the choice of eating out, your choice of food during eating out. We love our food so much that very often, according to survey, the choice of food during eat outs are not as healthy as choice of food when you eat at home. Okay, so that is an indicator of the diet. And I think a very staggering statistics showing that 95% of Malaysian adults do not consume adequate amount of fruits and vegetables. 95%, meaning that only 5% have enough fruits and vegetables. Let's zoom in into this problem a little bit more. As we know, say if you are running a survey, right? You want to run a quick survey about a diet quality of your people. The easiest for you is to pick some indicators. So fruits and vegetable intake is one of the key indicators that have been used in many surveys. So if you rely on this survey alone, then Malaysia really fail miserably, because 95% of Malaysian adults actually do not consume enough fruits and vegetables. Okay, and this trend has gone up over the years, meaning that there are even more adults that do not like to consume their fruits and vegetables. So adequate fruit and vegetables mean you need to consume at least 3 serve of vegetables and 2 serve of fruits. Okay, that's what we mean by adequate intake. That is according to Malaysian dietary guidelines. Well, but for the younger adolescents, 80% of them do not consume sufficient amount of fruits and vegetables, and they are both on an increasing increasing trend. So a recent systematic, not so recent now 3 years back, systematic review of diet quality of Malaysian showed that overall, most of the studies, big or small, concluded that Malaysians have poor diet quality. Poor diet quality in terms of not having enough fruits and vegetables and legumes. All right, legumes, example of legumes in Indonesia would be tempeh, right? In Malaysia, we also have lots of different kinds of legumes and soy products, but Malaysians do not have enough of that. And also we have inadequate amount of dairy, milk products. But we do have excessive amount of meat, salt, and sugar. Okay, so it is found that better diet quality seems to be associated with people with higher education, because I think now people who are becoming education is also power to change a lot of things. So people who are highly educated also seem to have higher awareness about what they should be eating in terms of how healthy food should form part of their daily diet. Maternal year of schooling, if they are moms, mothers, if they are higher education level, their children tend to be of higher diet quality. Being a female, not working, and also higher household and personal income seems to be related to better diet quality. I think the whole entire picture of nutritional status is not complete without looking at physical activity, right? I think if you look at Indonesia and Malaysia, both of these countries, actually, we all love our food. Okay, we have a share of problems with NCDs and also problems with undernutrition. But I think Malaysia, one thing outstanding about Malaysia, in not a good way, in a bad way, is that we also have higher than average prevalence of overweight and obesity. As it stands today, 1 in 2 Malaysian adults are overweight and obese. And this has to be not just about food only. I think it also has to do with the physical activity level. Our national survey suggests that Malaysian adults seems to have most people are physically active, because the physical inactivity is only 25%. That means 1 in 4 adults are not physically active. I think this number may not be correct, because this may be underreporting, because this survey is based on IPAC. If you're familiar with physical activity assessment, IPAC stands for International Physical Activity Questionnaire. Have you done that before? It tends to overrate your physical activity level. Okay, so when we rely on a survey like this, it seems to suggest that, oh, Malaysians are very active. It seems to be less sedentary over time. but many other studies that use objective measures of accelerometer or other measurements of physical activity seems to suggest that Malaysians are largely sedentary. Okay, and who are the ones who are least active, who are not so active? Females, majority of us in this room, we are females, we are least active. Age, those who are elderly, more than 75 years. Those who are student, oops, I think they refer to you, but Malaysian students. And also those who are living in city. Okay, these are the ones that are identified in Malaysia being physically inactive, relatively inactive. I think this is my almost my this is actually my last slide. I hope you are convinced now, knowing that Malaysia is a country that is undergoing very rapid nutrition transition. So it is evidenced by a few things, like we have abundance of food. For example, food balance sheet consistently showed that food supply is 30%, minimum 30% in surplus of energy need of the country. In terms of the types of food that people choose, there are increased consumption of wheat, sugar, fat, but reduction in plant-based protein, increase in meat-based protein. There is a change in lifestyle and behavior. There is more sedentariness in urban living and also more frequent eating out. So I think through my slides, I hope I didn't bore you. Am I still within my time? I am. Okay. I think in general, three key takeaway from my lectures. First of all, I think it is a fact that Malaysia is undergoing very rapid nutrition transition. It is of a bigger problem of food environmental issues and also lifestyle practices. We also have triple burden of malnutrition. That means we have coexisting problem of undernutrition, micronutrient deficiency. I showed you examples of anemia, and also issues of overnutrition. Not forgetting to address all these problems of nutrition transition and associated problem with obesity and non-communicable disease really require a broad-based approach across different life courses. We have to also consider multiple creative solutions to this bigger problem. So Malaysia being a small nation, we really have a lot of things to look into. So I think that's all for my lecture today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. G, for the very eye-opening presentation. Give a round of applause once more for Dr. G, everyone. Right. So since we still right on time, I think I wouldn't have so much thing to give you as a summary because Dr. G has already given you a summary, but I would just like to mention about what we have discussed yesterday about the sugar subsidy for those who are living in Malaysia. Yeah. So guys, for your information, sugar in Malaysia is being subsidized, even though the sugar sweetened beverages has actually taxed. Yeah, so that's quite interesting point. So rather than buying a sugar sweetened beverages, they can just buy their own tea, their own milk, and they get their own sugar because sugar there is much, maybe cheaper. Yeah? Very affordable. Can you mention the price? 2 ringgit. Oh, lovely. Okay. So also it's just 2 ringgits per kilogram. So it's around maybe 6,000, 7,000 per kilo. Yeah, imagine in Indonesia 2 kg 12.000, right? Ibu, 17.000 di kita. Saya beli 20.000, 17.000 ada ya Bu sekilo. 17.000 compared to only maybe 7,000, 7,000. So imagine it's quite cheap there. But they already managed to have their sugar sweetened beverages taxed, right? So maybe that is one interesting point compared to here in Indonesia. But we share similar profile for the anemia, for the any triple burden malnutrition. Even here in Indonesia, we haven't had any significant progress for anemia among pregnancy. So we have 1 out of 2 pregnant women actually being anemic. So compared to yours, it's obese. In ours, is anemia. Right. So students, it's quite funny. It's the 39% of the student is less active. So guys, I think you need to catch bikun a lot more than before. Yeah, don't catch the beam. Yeah, don't get the beam. Don't get the ojek. Just catch the bikun. Once you lose one, you need to catch another one. Yeah, or catch that one. So yeah, no need to wait for 20 minutes. Right. So I think we still have time for one or two questions. We have questions from the audience. Please go ahead. Don't be shy. We don't bite. Oh yeah, Gaga. Anyone more? Yes, please. So Gaga, and we have one mic for the lady over there. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning to Dr. G. I'm Gaga Prakasa from batch 2021. So my question is, maybe aside from the perpetual and rapid nutritional transition in the C region, why is it that reduction of issues in malnutrition in the C region is stagnating? Is it related to the economy? Does it have to do something with like the COVID pandemic, or is it related to the abysmal policies of governments in the C region? Maybe that's my question.
Thanks for the question. I think the question probably require 2 days of appraisal. Like, why are we having, I think in this region, having this problem about accelerated actually issue. So a recent report seems to suggest that South Asia, we're in Southeast Asia, but Asia in general, especially South Asia, seems to have what they call accelerated nutrition transition, meaning that people usually take a century to see a change. We take decades to see changes. So why is that so? I'm not, I can't answer you, but it seems that Southeast Asia, we are not better than many under contingent. Like you can see that our average prevalence is actually worse compared to global average. Yeah. And I think if you look at the charts of the Southeast Asia ranking in terms of double burden of malnutrition for the Lancet paper, just by coincidence, the smaller the country, the worse the problem. I'm not sure why, but that is in terms of prevalence. But in terms of absolute number, because like Indonesia is a very populous, one of the most populous country, right? Absolute number, there's a lot to handle in terms of numbers. Yeah, sorry, I don't have an answer for you, but that's a good question.
Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Felicia. I'm from batch 2021. I actually have two questions. Is it okay or okay? So the first question is, you previously mentioned that Malaysia is currently suffering from triple burden of malnutrition and have a high prevalence of cardiovascular disease risk factor like diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. So I'm just curious, as a high middle income country, other than the tax regulation of sweet beverage, that seems like not successful enough to decrease the obesity rates in Malaysia. Is there any nutritional program that currently applied and has been proven successful to reduce those number of cases, or probably any soon to be nutritional program that's soon to be applied? Perhaps I think Indonesia could modify and apply the same program as well. That's the first question. And for the second question is, as Budina previously mentioned, that in Indonesia, we also have a high rate of anemia. And I think it's pretty similar with Malaysia. But what's interesting for me is I think in the presentation I saw that in Malaysia, people there turns out to eat a lot of meat, while in Indonesia, we rarely eat, especially red meats. That's why we have. That's probably why we have high rates of anemia. But weirdly, in Malaysia, they eat a lot of red meat, but still have a high rate of anemia. Do you think? What do you think of any other reasons that probably cause the high prevalence of anemia in Malaysia? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good questions. I think I tackle the second one first. The question about the choice, yeah, it's true that in terms of nutrition transition, Malaysia seems to take higher number of a higher meat protein to plant protein ratio, and this is also termed as protein transition. So actually, there's a very good paper talking about protein transition in Malaysia that seems to suggest that now Malaysian not just preferentially, that means not just we prefer to eat meat as a source of protein, they also tend to practice that. That means in a plate of food, animal protein seems to be a must on many Malaysians' plate. I think one key thing to note that in Malaysia, the first choice of meat is actually chicken. It's not red meat. For religious reason and also for other cultural reason. So the choice of meat also plays a very important role here. So yeah, so we are not really a big nation who likes red meat. So I think your hypothesis about the meat and the anemia, could be very interesting to look into. Yeah, so but that is, I don't have a reason to explain to you why is that so that we have lower prevalence compared to Indonesia. I think it's very multifactorial because anemia can be not just from iron, it can be from B12, it can be from folic acid. So there are many forms of anemia, right? But Malaysia iron deficiency anemia is the main form. The first question. First question is very difficult, and I'm gonna leave it to Dr. Gita because she's gonna present later about obesity problems and also the interventions. I think you're gonna talk about that. Yeah, in Malaysia, and she has some very good proposal about that as well. Okay. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much, Dr. G, for the answer and everyone for the question. So yeah, I think you are familiar with teh tarik, right? In Indonesia, one of the problem of still having anemia, even though the iron folic acid tablets is being consumed, is because they consume it with tea or coffee. So maybe Malaysian usually drink tea a lot with teh tarik. I don't know. Just kidding. And- but there, yes, of course, there are many factors. And Indonesia also still dealing with the warming. So we still have to deal with the deworming medication. So they're, anemic because infections and many kind of, yes, inflammations and any kind of form. Right. So I think we still have, if you still have more questions to Dr. G, we can still do it later on after Dr. Gita's presentation. But before that, I would like to introduce our second, of course, distinguished speakers as well. Associate Professor Dr. Gita Apana, BSc, MSc, PhD. She is an Associate Professor in Community Nutrition in University Putra, Malaysia. So Dr. G is from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, and Dr. Gita is from University Putra, Malaysia. And she got her PhD in MRC, Human Nutrition Research, University of Cambridge in 2013. Her specialty is in about obesity, cardiometabolic risk factors, bone health, and the factors that influence dietary intake in populations, including food prices and affordability. That's why she can answer how much is 1 kilo of sugar. Very precise, 2 ringgits per kilo. And she still maintains close research linkage with several international counterparts like Australia. She co-heads the Diet Special Interest Groups of Prospective Study named the RAIN Study. And she also been awarded with the Southeast Asia Fellowship from US in 2022 until 2023. And she's also the president of the Malaysian Association for the Study of Obesity or Muscle. So guys, so for you guys who are interested about obesity, I think it's a huge market. You can just visit Dr. Gita, yeah? And the treasurer for the Asia Oceania Association for the Study of Obesity, and active member for Malaysian Diabetic Association and Nutrition Society of Malaysia. So I think we have no doubt for her expertise, and I think it's just a time for her to present her presentation. The floor is yours, Dr. Gita. 30 minutes.
Thank you, Ibu Dina. I would like to start my presentation with huge gratitude to the department. Yeah, Ibu Ase, Ibu Dia, Ibu Dina, and sorry, I forgot, Ibu Dini. Trini. Yeah. Thank you so much for your invitation. I'm so very grateful to be here. And yeah, once again, thank you so much, students. Give a big applause to all of you. Macam, like what Dr. Jane said just now. So it's Saturday morning, and for you to be here. Are you all awake? Awake? Do you want some coffee? Coffee? Yes? No? Unfortunately, no coffee. Yeah. Sing. I was informed there is a performance, no? We are the performer. So sorry. Unfortunately, there's no coffee. But if I can buy you coffee, I would do that. Anybody know any coffee, nice coffee here? No? Yeah. Ah, for that, maybe all of you need to be still, force yourself, force yourself to be awake. Answer my question. If you do really well, we can consider. Okay, right now, so this is maybe a little bit more, just too much on Saturday morning, talking about statistics, talking about, nutritional problem and then obesity problem. Now I'm going to talk about obesity problem. A bit too much. Please bear with me. If you have any question while I'm talking, please raise your hand. You don't have to wait until the end of the presentation because, sometimes, you lose momentum. Yeah. So now I'm going to talk about challenges and solutions in tackling obesity in Malaysia. Actually, more to challenges, there is there is no like very good solution. Yeah. I will explain to you why is it very very difficult. Yeah. Once a person went into a BMI of what we consider as a overweight and obese, it's very very difficult for that person to get back to the normal weight group. Very difficult. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's very, very difficult. Yeah. Why? The problem is because we are living in an environment that is so obesogenic. Do you know what's the meaning of obesogenic? I like to talk while walking. Can I do that? Do you know what's the definition of obesogenic? Obesogenic. Obese. Do you know what's obese? Obesity?
Obesogenic, yeah. Cup of coffee, right?
Do you want coffee? Obesogenic environment. Somebody was nodding here just now. Do you want to try? Here. Do you want to try?
I think obesogenic where the environment is like promotes the lifestyle, promotes obesity lifestyle, like sedentary lifestyles, and like the foods around are like rich in fat, rich in sugar. Like the environment in general that promotes obesity itself.
Exactly. Thank you so much. That's a
Thank
very good attempt. So it's the environment that promotes obesity. Yeah. So if you see the background of my first slide here, it shows a group of students here, like all of you, sitting down, having food. Probably the food cannot be seen here, but there's food there. Um, and that's the lifestyle that most of students these days. I simply put this picture because I know I'm going to talk to a bunch of students today, so it's maybe it makes a more we can relate to this picture because this is the environment that most of us now we are living in. Yeah. And Dr. Jane already mentioned about the factors, yeah, from the diet aspect, from physical inactivity aspect, and also all the other environment factor that makes us to choose this kind of lifestyle. We are forced, we actually scammed, Do you know what's the meaning of scam? Some of us living in scam. This is the environment we will scam. We live in an environment where we have to make those choices because the healthy choices may be more expensive. Yeah. To choose a bowl of salad is probably more expensive than that, burger. Yeah. Or to go to the gym is very, very expensive to get to get a gym membership. Yeah. It's very expensive and it's so unsafe to run on the road. Yeah. This morning when we were we were coming here, we saw a couple of people running on the road. We were like, oh, these people are so brave. Yeah. In Malaysia, we can never do that. We will knock down. But here, it's still okay. I saw some people still running on the, in the middle of the road. We literally see a man running on the middle of the road. We don't do that in Malaysia because, people, the possibility of being knocked down is really, really high. Yeah. So it's the environment that we're talking about. Yeah. Now, this is my outline. So I'm going to talk about obesity and comorbidities. Dr. Jean already mentioned about the other aspect of nutritional problem, yeah, and also a little bit on obesity. So I won't take so much of time. And some bit of obesity inequality, yeah. I hope you know what's the definition of inequality, yeah, the challenges, and some steps taken, yeah. I'm not sure whether it's steps. I tell you why I'm not sure about it, yeah. But there are steps that we are taking, yeah, in Malaysia to reduce number of obesity in Malaysia. So this slide is taken from World Obesity website. Yeah, it's quite recent. So I'm just telling you the number of globally how do we look into the percentages of overweight and obesity. This is in girls living with either overweight or obesity. Girls, I mean girls aged between 5 to 18 years old. We're seeing it's not very clear here, yeah, in terms of the shading, but obviously Malaysia is shaded more brighter, yeah. Yeah, that means the brighter it is, the higher the prevalence, yeah. So we can say Malaysia is probably between 25 to 35 percentage, whereas Indonesia is probably one shade lower, it's 15 to 24 percentage, yeah. So this in girls, and this is in boys, similar to what we see in girls just now. We're seeing also in boys, yeah. I am not sure the gender differences in terms of the prevalence you are seeing in Indonesia, but in most countries we're seeing the prevalence of overweight obesity is rather higher in boys, yeah, compared to girls. But once they eat the adolescent age group, yeah, the girls becoming more overweight, more obese, yeah, because that's the age where girls are more concerned about running outside, yeah. Girls is more concerned about sunlight, yeah. They don't want to get that nasty UV ray on their skin, yeah. So there's a lot of issues. So girls don't really do so much of a physical activity and diet, because we are living environment where we are forced to eat certain things. So we are saying this is more common in girls compared to boys. Boys don't care, right? They play football under the hot sun. Do you play football, boys here? Sometimes. Do you do exercise? Do you do physical activity? Any sort? Do you do? Yeah. Daily. Wow, that's really good. Boys at the back? Yeah? Wow. That's good. Very limited boys, huh? Very limited. We are seeing the same thing in Malaysia as well. These nutrition course mostly are predominated by girls. Yeah. Yeah. But well done, boys, being here. Okay. And in women, what we're seeing in women, a little bit more, the shade is almost similar as to children just now. So it's between 20 to 30% here. But what we're seeing is that Indonesia, on the other hand, the shade is like way much lower. Yeah. So the problem is huge in children, but in adults, it seems to be lesser. Yeah, it's lesser probably. And in men, the shade is also similar to women just now. Yeah. So it's between 20 to 20, 20 to 30% in Malaysia, but in among Indonesian, this is lesser. It's a bit yellow, greenish. Yeah, 5 to 10%. Yeah. But in terms of absolute number, as Dr. Jean mentioned just now, the problem is probably more bigger than Malaysia. But prevalence is probably Malaysia is showing higher level of prevalence as compared to Indonesia. But because Indonesia is highly populated, so in terms of absolute number, maybe it's higher. Yeah. Now, so what I want to show you here is more on statistics. This is more on childhood obesity. Again, yeah, this is taken from our surveys in Malaysia. Previously, it was world obesity. So world obesity data is actually gathered from the national surveys as well. So looking at this survey, the first one on your right, yeah, prevalence and trends of obesity among Malaysian children aged 5 to 17 years old, we're seeing increase, yeah, regardless of gender. Yeah, of course, boys is higher here, yeah, because it's at in the purple line here, okay, boys is more. Now, only in secondary school children. So this is on your left, secondary school children in Malaysia, they age between 13 to 17. Yeah. If we include the higher high school, it's probably 13 to 18 years old. The normal one is 13 to 17. Yeah. Okay. So in majority, these are those representing those age in 13 to 17 years old, secondary school. Yeah, maybe different in Indonesia. But what we're seeing is that rather higher. Yeah, so higher in this age group compared to this age group for the reasons I mentioned just now. Yeah. So what are we doing in terms of this? This is Atlas of Childhood Obesity in Malaysia. Yeah, I got this from World Obesity Federation. So each day, including for Indonesia, you can go and check this, how well we are doing. Yeah, in terms, this atlas presents data for every country based on their current and predicted levels of obesity in children, the risk factors, and the presence of our policies, our government policies to tackle obesity, such as, are we doing enough to restrict the marketing, the advertisement, yeah, of food, yeah, some food, such as, to children, encouragement of physical activity, and national guidelines for healthy diets. So are we doing enough in this aspect? Yeah, so we are actually graded based on those aspects. All right. So what we got is that for Malaysia is red. That means we fail. Red is not good. Green is good. So if you look at the traffic light indication, yeah, there's green, there's yellow, there's red. So red is representing we're not doing that well. Yeah, to tackle the problem of overweight obesity in children. All right. You can check for Indonesia how you are doing. What do you think? What do you think? What would be your grade like? Do you think Indonesia is also in red zone? Orange? There's no orange, boy. What do you think? Red? Why? Are you in your final year? You're in final year. Are you final year student? No. But what I'm asking is final year students probably have more exposure to some policies and so on. Any final year student here? You? Oh, he's busy with the camera. What about you? What about you? Are you final year? What do you think? You still don't know. You're not sure. Anybody sure? Anybody want to try? It's okay. If you don't know, maybe this is something that you are very curious. Are you curious enough? Want to know? Yeah. Check. Yeah. check at that World Obesity Federation website and you will get data on this global obesity observatory. So it's an observation to see whether a country is doing well in their policies to tackle overweight and obesity in children. Yeah. So we're not doing well. Yeah. Very honest here. We're not doing well. We need to do more. Yeah, in Malaysia. Now, adult obesity in Malaysia is really high. Yeah, so if you see here, this is latest 2019 data, also from the similar National Health and Morbidity Survey as Dr. Jean mentioned just now. Yeah, so this is a national survey where a lot of our Malaysian are surveyed. Yeah, so we use weightage sampling to do this survey. Yeah, so it represents the entire Malaysia. All right, so Malaysian in 2019, there were 52.6% of us were abdominally obese. Do you know what's the meaning of abdominal obesity? How do we define abdominal obesity? Yes, waist circumference of more than 80 for men, woman 90. Very good. Yeah. So that is what's the definition, right? Now, in terms of overweight and obesity, so if you look, yellow line here indicating for overweight. Yeah. So as what we saw in young children, we also managed to not to bring up the prevalence. So between 2015 and 2019, only 0.4 increase for overweight. Yeah. But on the other hand, not so good news. Maybe you thought, oh, okay, what? You reduce, I mean, you not reduce, you are stagnant. It's okay lah, isn't it? That's what we're thinking. But actually, you know what happened? Most of these people who were overweight before now went to here, obesity group. Yeah? Is that good news? Probably not. Yeah. So we think that those who managed to because the reason why we didn't increase the level of overweight group because they were already now in the obesity group. Yeah. So in 2019, almost 20% of our Malaysian adults were obese. So if I combine these two, 50%. Yeah. What does it mean? 50% of Malaysian, either they were overweight or obese. That was 1 in 2. So 1 in 2. 1 in 2. Yeah, it's quite high, right? Quite alarming. But wait, I tell you that another findings. Okay. So this is age. So what we saw is that age-adjusted mean BMI in overall increase. Age-adjusted mean waist circumference increase. When I say age-adjusted, is that regardless of age, we see the increase in BMI. We see increase in waist circumference. Yeah, because you might ask me, this is probably not so much a problem of younger adults, but maybe a problem in older adults because aging is one of the risk factor for overweight and obesity. Yeah, but after adjusting for age, we see an increase. So regardless of age, BMI still increase, waist circumference still increase. Yeah, so prevalence obesity increase, abdominal obesity increase. If I compare to the national survey that were conducted previously. Yeah, okay. So half of Malaysians were either overweight or obese, and these are all the indicators that reflecting the increase in BMI and waist circumference. Okay, in older adults, this is 60 years and older in Malaysia. I wanted to show you this slide because Malaysia is one of the aging nation. Yeah, our population now indicates that there are more people who are coming from the older age group simply because Malaysians now live longer. Yeah, when people live longer, what happened? You see more people live longer At the same time, we are seeing low birth rate. Our birth rate has reduced. Yeah. What's your birth rate in Indonesia? Public health student must know. Public health nutrition student must know. Anybody can guess what is the birth rate like in Indonesia? Any idea? Any idea anybody want to volunteer? Coffee is waiting. No, coffee is not a very good motivation. Birth rate. Another homework for you to go and check. Yeah, so 2 homework so far. Yeah, you want to try? Yes. 2.8. So 2.18 in 2021. 2.18 is 2.2 almost. Yeah. So every woman in Indonesia have 2 children. Yeah. Malaysian is less than 2. Okay. Less than 2. This is a decrease. Yeah. It's actually one of the largest decrease we have seen in our history. Our birth rate has reduced. People live longer. What does it mean? Aging nation. Yeah. Aging nation, it's a concern because we have to spend our healthcare expenditure to treat a lot of people who now aged with disease. All right. So aging is one of the risk factor for obesity. Okay. And we are seeing an increase in older adults since 1996 year. Yeah. Up to 2018. Okay. We are seeing an increase. Yeah. In both for both the overweight and obesity. And who are these people who are obese and overweight? Yeah. So the sub-analysis shows that for overweight, highest prevalence overweight is 38.2 with notable occurrences among females, married individuals. Is marriage one of the risks? Being married is one of the risks, yeah? Okay. Yeah, recently there were a very nice paper came out and newspaper people, media people take up as a very good headline. Being married is a risk factor for overweight and obesity. Why do you think so? Huh? Why you think it's a risk factor? That will stop people from getting married, you know? Yeah, why? And this is regardless of gender, male or female. Both put on weight after marriage. Any reason why? Why those things didn't happen before they got married? Only after they get married, people start to put on weight. Very interesting, right? So that's the proposal that I want to give you. Maybe you want to do a study among Indonesian. Is marriage one of the risk factor for putting on weight? Interesting, right? Yeah. Maybe the reason is that, once you're married, you have to change your diet, your lifestyle according to what the partner likes. Yeah. It works 2 ways. Yeah, it works 2 ways. Maybe that's one of the reason. Maybe that, after being married, now that you have children, you have your own family, you probably less care about how you look. There's less time to care about how you look. Maybe. Yeah. So those can be the reasons. Yeah. Those are the social reasons, but we want to also understand the social as well as the biology. Yeah. Reasons that make this as a case. Now, and then we have those who with tertiary education and also unemployed because older adults mostly already retired, maybe not working anymore, maybe not as active as before. Maybe that's the reason why they are at that years. Same goes to obesity as well. So those factors that we see on overweight also works the same for obesity. Yeah, so obesity, the exception is the monthly income ranging from 1,000 to 2,000 ringgit Malaysia. Yeah, so people who are obese, they are in the lower income classification. Yeah, because they are unemployed now, probably living on the retirement scheme. Yeah, probably have less of what we call income. Yeah, income has got very good linked with obesity. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in obesity in Malaysia is highest ever with 50%. The latest of NHMS survey, National Health and Mobility Survey, which is last year's data, was not yet launched, but the insider report told me that the prevalence, the latest prevalence is even more higher, yeah, than 50%. Okay, this is the survey done after COVID. Yeah, so we are, as expected, it is increased a lot more. Yeah, but we are not sure how much has escalated. Probably between 50 to 55% now. Yeah, so definitely an increase. All right. So this is expected to go even more higher for two reasons. Because after COVID, and because we also have prevalence of stunting is just really high. Yeah, as Dr. Jean mentioned just now, our prevalence is one of the highest ever at the current moment. And what happened with stunting children? When they grow up, they remain short and they put on weight. Yeah, so it's they can be categorized into the group of overweight and obesity. So this can increase the number of overweight, obesity even more higher in coming years. Yeah. And we're also seeing high link between obesity and other comorbidities. Yeah. So in summary, 1 in 2 adults is overweight, obese. 1 in 3 primary school children is either overweight and obese. 1 in 4 secondary school children is either overweight, obese. Yeah. And the gap is getting lower, lower and lower and lower, closer and closer. Yeah. This is the thing that I wanted to show you, even more scary. What World Obesity have done is that they have done some prediction based on some modeling. So this modeling is actually done based on the current obesity prevalence. Yeah, if we don't do anything to the current obesity, if we don't do any intervention, no policies, no appropriate policies to tackle this problem now, what happened is that, yeah, in 2060, which is not very long from now, how long more? 2060? Berapa tahun lagi? Huh? 26? 36? 36? Oh, I already retired that time. I don't care anymore. You all are the future. Yeah? But in 2016, if we don't do anything, yeah, what happens is that the prevalence will go up to 94%. And that's like almost everybody in Malaysia is going to be overweight and obese. And Malaysia is going to sink because so many heavy people sink. Yeah. Okay. So this is a projection, like, and we have been top 5 in the world. Yeah. Number 5. Where's Indonesia here? Can you see Indonesia? Yeah. So a long way to go for you. Yeah. Being ranked number 5 in the table should be a cause of concern. Okay. And obesity, as I say, is not only a problem on its own, but it's also a very high risk factor for other comorbidity. One of it are diabetes. One of it is diabetes, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia. And in Malaysia, the latest finding, national survey, we found that 18.3% of adults are diabetic, 30% to have hypertension, 38.1% to have hypercholesterolemia. Okay, so this is there's a very strong bidirectional link and also associated with some cancer. Why did I put this as a case here? Yeah, because obesity is not a problem of not being very nice, not physically attractive, but also a problem of having higher chances of having other NCD. And what happens when person is having other NCD? They will go to our healthcare. to get medication, to get doctor's advice, yeah? And all of that is a expenditure. It's a cost. It's a cost to who? It's a cost to who? It's a cost to the individual because he may need to take leave from work. He may not be feeling very well. Productivity may be very low. Yeah. It's a cost for the family. It's a cost for the society. It's a cost for the country. Isn't it? Yeah. So this is all a problem. Yeah. And we want to aware, if possible, prevent this. Yeah. And I also want to show you about this obesity inequality in Malaysia. Do we see any stark differences between certain ethnic group or certain income group? Yeah. So what we have done some analysis according to locality. That means we have compared the prevalence of obesity between urban and rural. Yeah, we don't see much differences. If you see, they're almost similar. Yeah, we will expect people in the rural area to be more of them to be in the normal weight group, right? Yeah, but in Malaysia, we don't see such difference. Yeah, but in terms of ethnic group, we are seeing differences, especially Indians. Yeah, I am Malaysian Indian, by the way. Yeah, so I am at the very high risk. Yeah, maybe this is a genetic. Do you believe in genetic factor? Yes. Do you think genetic plays a major role? I can see half and half here. Interesting. Who thinks genetic plays a major role? Major role. Minor role? Raise your arm, raise your hands, raise your hand. Come on, exercise a little bit. You want to stand also? Okay, no problem. Who thinks this is a minor role? Who thinks this is an interplay between genetic and lifestyle? Anybody? You are not sure. Interplay? Do you know what's the interplay? We might have the genetic, but because we are living in certain environment, we may not get. If you have the genetic and you live in a high income country like Finland, where it's very healthy, you probably don't end up being obese at all. But if you have the similar gene, but you living in country like Malaysia, yeah, the chances is probably higher. Yeah, so it's an interplay between genetic and lifestyle, and genetic is probably the contribution to obesity is probably minor. Yeah, biologically it's minor, but think probably between 20 to 30%. The rest is coming from the lifestyle factor. Yeah, so yeah, maybe genetic. So I have to be very, very careful. Yeah, so I have to be very careful. I'm always mindful of this. Yeah, whenever I'm eating. Yeah, so that's very stressful sometimes. Anyway, the other ethnic group here, what we're saying is those who are coming from the Sabah and Sarawak. Malaysia, we have another, you know Kalimantan, right? Yeah. So above Kalimantan, we have two states that belongs to Malaysia. Borneo Island, we call that Sarawak and Sabah. Yeah. So some ethnic group from Sabah, Sarawak also having higher chances, higher levels of overweight obesity. And in terms of income group, very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. We don't see much different. You see the between the bottom 40. So what we do is in Malaysia, we categorize them into, we categorize most of us in Malaysia into three major income groups. The bottom 40s, that means the income is at the lowest 40, yeah, middle 40, and top 20. Okay, so we have three major income groups. And what we're seeing is that for overweight, we don't see much of the difference, yeah. But for obesity, we are seeing less in the top 20 income group as compared to the other two income groups, as the middle 40 or the bottom 40. Yeah. So the the top 20, the higher people with highest income, they are probably more aware, yeah, of this situation, and they are less likely to be in the obese group. So is that what we call inequality? Yes, some sort of inequality. All right. It may be not significant here, but we're seeing the trend as such. Yeah. So what we're doing that because we don't see much of the inequality in many other aspects except for these two, and it's not significant. So what we are encouraging is the whole system approaches to population health improvement. Whole system, that means we give our intervention equally to all Malaysian at the same time. Yeah. So in this case, we don't really target, yeah, to certain group or certain ethnic group or certain income people. Yeah. It has to be similar to all. That's how we can close the gap, or that's how it should be, because we don't see much of the differences in terms of income group, because it's not significant. Although the trend shows that obese group is having less. Yeah. And this is different as compared to high income country. High income country like UK, we're seeing very stark difference. So people who are coming from lower income group, they are most likely to be obese as compared to high income group. Same goes the one in US as well. Yeah. So that's why those countries are implementing much more of the targeted intervention to those groups as compared to all. Yeah. Now, so why prevention is important? Ibu Asih just now in welcome remarks, she did mention about prevention. Yeah. Prevention is the key. Yeah. Because it's very difficult once people already be in the overweight and obese group to bring back their weight to the normal weight group. It's very, very difficult. Yeah. I've never seen, to be honest, I've never seen anybody that I know have managed successfully bring back their weight to the to the normal weight. Very difficult. Yeah. Only 2 to 3% of individuals who are overweight, obese, likely to get back to a healthy weight. 2 to 3%. This study shows 2 to 3% only, and I've never seen one. It's very rare. Yeah. Obese parents are more likely to have obese children. Why? Why? It's a phenotype. We're talking about phenotype. Obese parents look most likely to have obese children because children eat what the parents eat. It's the home modeling we're talking about. Yeah? Obese parents are less likely to recognize that children are obese. They think it's chomel. Is it chomel? You call them chomel as well? The bulat one? You call chomel, right? Yeah. They think the children chomel. Tak apa. It's okay. They chomel. They don't realize the children having issue. Yeah. So this is the data shows that how many percentage of people who manage to get back to the healthy weight, which is the normal weight category. Yeah. Difficult. Very, very difficult. So therefore, let's prevent our people to not get into the overweight and obese group at first place. Yeah, let's do that. Prevention is the key. Because once it goes to management is very difficult. All right? Now, what we learned, some evidence from the UK is that this is a simulation. They have done a simulation study. I forgot to put the reference for this study, but they have done 4 simulations. You know, a simulation is like modeling. Yeah, it's not a real study, but they have done some simulation based on the latest data, latest findings. So there's 4 simulation here. Simulation 0, those between the overweight and obese group between the year 2008 up to 2017 with no intervention. What happened to them in terms of the healthcare expenditure? Simulation 1 is those same age timeline. This is giving more attention to the younger age group, age 6 to 10. Yeah, no BMI. They just want to make sure there's no BMI growth, no adding on weight. Simulation 2, same timeline, all ages. So this is a simulation where they give attention to all, not necessarily the younger age group, but to all. Yeah, but they want to, the simulation is that they kept the BMI at 30. Yeah, at 30, at least in 50% of the population. Simulation 3, yeah, this is age group of 20 to 100. So it's adult age group, more focused on adult age group. And what they want to do is at least there's a BMI shift as in -4. Bring down BMI in 4 units only. Yeah, 4 units are, meaning 30 to 26. Yeah, 35 to 31. 4 units only. Can we do that? 4 units only. Can we do that? Can, but it's very difficult. Yeah. So what happens is that simulation 3, bringing down 4 units of BMI has been the most cost effective. And this is in adults, because adults will use most number of treatment for the other comorbidities and so on. Yeah. So we bring down 4 units of BMI in adults age group. It was seen to be the most cost effective for the healthcare expenditure. Yeah. So it brings down a lot of the expenditure that they do. Yeah. And not only that, we can also bring down the number of diabetes patient and also number of heart disease patient. Okay. So the determinants of obesity is complex. This is the evidence showing, develops in individuals, but then it is a social, within a social and cultural context. Yeah. Obesity cuts across other policy areas and demands an integral approach. So it's not a problem of Ministry of Health. It's not a problem of us nutritionists alone, yeah, or dietitians alone. It's actually a problem of Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture. Make sure healthy food is available all the time. It's also a problem of Ministry of Local, the Trade, yeah. So it's a problem of many ministries that we have to work in harmony. Okay. However, there's limited evidence for intervention, especially in Malaysia. I'm not sure in Indonesia. Yeah, maybe you can advise me. Can you? Do you think there's enough evidence? Good evidence? Do you know what's good evidence? The hierarchy of evidence? The hierarchy of evidence, the pyramid of evidence? The best is coming from meta-analysis, systematic review, RCTs. Yeah, this is the good evidence we're talking about. Do we have enough in Malaysia? Do we have enough in Indonesia? Maybe not. Yeah, and there's a tension between developing a solid evidence base and a pressure to act quickly. Always, this is a problem. Yeah, we want to do something quickly. The next 5 years, we want to see a reduction in number of stunting, a reduction in number of childhood obesity. But how? We were not given any approach, any technique, any intervention, but they want to see a reduction. Yeah, that's a problem always. And this is the thing that we're having, the problem. We are living in an environment, yeah, it is so obesogenic and we are exposed to all of this. Yeah, grab food. You order, the food reaches the doorstep of your house. Yeah, order anything. Yeah, anything under the sky, right? You can order. Yeah, so that's the problem. You don't even have to vote. So now let's go back to prevention of obesity in Malaysia. So what happens is that we have done a lot of policy. Let me tell you, Malaysia is very good for this kind of policy documents. Champion. Policy document, very good. We have all of these policy documents from obesity. We have policy documents to improve our nutritional status. Dr. Jean mentioned just now. Very good. What happens is that the implementation of these policies is the problem. Okay, and we are now working in the we are in work in progress. We are MASO. Now we are working on these strategies for the prevention of obesity in Malaysia. We're giving some recommendations, solutions, maybe solutions, recommendation to prevent obesity in Malaysia. But I'm telling you, this was one of the most challenging endeavor ever I have done as a researcher in this field. It's very difficult, especially when you are dealing with industry. Yeah, because industry is not necessarily be in line, yeah, with the obesity reduction plan or recommendation. And also some of the challenges are also coming within the Ministry of Health people, within the Ministry of Trade. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Now, what we have done, we have several approaches in Malaysia, policies. Those policies actually are reflected in some activities programs. So these are the programs from health clinic to nursery in preschool, primary and secondary school, in higher learning institution, in workplace and in community. So this covers almost everyone. Yeah, almost everyone, almost every Malaysian. Okay. From the health, in the health clinic, what we do is that we do a lot of breastfeeding support programs so that the new mothers don't really, feed their children with infant formula, but then give a lot of support so that the mothers can breastfeed. We give nutrition consultation. We do cooking demonstration in clinic to help to teach our patients, our mothers, healthy way of cooking. And we also have weight loss program at the clinic. And this is at the level as puskesmas like yours in Indonesia. Yeah. And we have nursery and preschool. We have guideline of menu planning in nursery. We have guideline for milk handling, the food safety part, guideline of infant and young children feeding. Yeah. And also some training or module handling the in nursery. Yeah. So help the preschool teachers or the kindergarten owners owner on how to handle the diet part. Number 3 is at the school level, we have meal package. Yeah, to some school children who needs food. Yeah, who are coming from the poverty group, income group. So they are actually given food packages. Healthy school canteen guideline, and all our boarding school in Malaysia actually having a standard menu. Yeah, healthy menu that is curated by the nutritionist. Yeah, so all of this. And we also do a lot of work with the Parent and Teachers Association from each school. Each state, we have very good collaboration with Parent and Teacher Associations. Yeah, so we empower them, not only the parents, but also the teachers. Yeah, we empower all of them. Now, at workplace, we do this. We encourage most of workplaces, especially those government workplaces, to have cafeteria sehat. Yeah, that means healthy cafe. When we were doing campus tour yesterday, I saw one signboard saying canteen sehat. Yeah, you all know that? Do you go there for your lunch? Do you go there for lunch? Good. Yeah. And also healthy meals to meetings. So all our meetings these days are calorie tagged. So we know how much calorie we consume if we are go for meeting. If they serve us food, there's always a calorie tagging. So we know how much we're doing. You may argue calorie tagging is probably not the best way to do, but at least you're very mindful on how much calorie you consume. Yeah. Number 5, at community level, we have lots of activities done. Yeah. Nutrition Month Malaysia, for example, and we have a healthy supermarket tour. Yeah, we do this. We bring our participants to supermarket. We teach them how to do shopping, grocery shopping in supermarket. We teach them what to choose. What do you normally choose and what can you choose? Instead of choosing that, you can choose this. We do that kind of guidance and teaching as well.
Excuse
And
me,
other than that,
Dr. Gita, you have 2 more minutes.
2 more
if
minutes.
that's
Okay, I rush.
okay for you.
Now,
Thank you.
then we also have Malaysia Healthy Plate, suku-suku separuh we call it, suku nasi or carbo based, suku protein. Yeah, if you have this big plate, suku of the plate should be filled with carbo, that is healthy carbo. Protein, half of it should be fruits and vegetables. Okay, suku-suku sparrow. Almost all Malaysian knows this, but the application is probably not so much. That's why Dr. Jean mentioned just now, the number of people who consume fruits and vegetables in Malaysia is lowest. Okay, taxing sugary drinks around the globe. There was one question just now. Okay, this has been done since year 2010. Many countries has been adopting this sugar taxes. Malaysia have adopted this in 2019. Yeah, and what we have seen is that worldwide there are a lot of data coming now showing reduced in terms of the consumption. Yeah, consumption reduced, the consumption of water increased, consumption of sugary drinks reduced, water increase, and equals to reduced number of people who are overweight obese in some countries. In Malaysia, we have done this, but we don't have data yet. Yeah, we don't have data yet. But then, so this is for Malaysian data, Ministry of Health. This is data from 2023. Yeah, so we have what we call, we have WHO encourages 20% of sugary tax. Yeah, but in Malaysia, this is just 8.3%. Okay, although WHO encourages 20%, not all country will do this because the country will have to think about, you know, if 20%, it will be too much for the population. Yeah, politically and economically. If you want to get vote, you don't want to do this so much. Yeah, start slow and then you increase stages. Yeah, so this is in Malaysia is just 8.3%. Yeah, in 2019. This is just if I want to show you in terms of cents, it's only 40 cents per liter. Not so much. People still can afford that 40 cents. So not so much of difference we can see. Yeah. So does it lead to changes in SSB consumption? So well, in a study in 2019 done in adolescent, what we saw is that there was a reduction. Yeah, there was a reduction in terms of consumption of SSB in adolescent. But in adults, we don't have a study yet. Yeah, they are planning to do one soon. Okay. Now, this is a study by me and my student. What we have done is not only looking at the consumer level, but we also look at what are the, since the implementation of SSB tax, what are the responses of industry. Yeah, how did industry take this? Okay, so what we done this study, and we found that surprisingly, industry adhered to this SSB tax, and they have done reformulation, and that's a good thing. Reformulation is good because reformulation means less sugar in the product. Okay, so we that was done. And in terms of, this is a holistic nourishing framework by World Cancer Research Fund. They encourages changes at food environment, food system, behavior change. If I go through this checklist, only few that we could achieve, but there's a lot more to be done. So those that I cross is something that we haven't done yet, not adequately done yet. Yeah. So what's next? Future plan or policy? At the moment, Malaysia is planning to do this healthy central kitchen. This is adapted from a Japanese government. Yeah, Kyushu Center. It's a work still ongoing. Yeah, we don't have this yet. There's a lot of ongoing because this is a multi-million-dollar kind of project. So there's still a lot of discussions still ongoing. And we are planning to, at the moment, the restriction to television advertisement is very much basically voluntary. So the company or the industry who feel, obliged, they will do voluntary restriction themselves. So they don't really necessarily show fast food advertisement during a children hour, voluntary best. But soon we're going to do this as a mandatory. Yeah, so that's also work in progress. Management of overweight and obesity as a primary healthcare. Although we have weight loss clinic, but it's not adequately sufficiently done. So we need to have a proper SOP for that. It's still in the work in progress. And we want to impose higher excise duty for the SSB because 8.3% is not enough. to see the changes apparently. And we also working together with retail outlet, yeah, retail outlet, the hypermarket, supermarket, and so on, to advocate more of a healthy eating or healthy food intakes. So we this is some of the work that's already done, work in progress, but that it doesn't reflected in bringing down the number of obesity. Yeah, instead the rate is going higher and higher. Yeah. So are we doing enough? Is there a solution in as reflected in my title? Maybe not. Yeah. So we need more work. Yeah. We need to increase more walkability, cyclability of the built environment. Is something very a problem in Malaysia. Yeah. Control the availability of food, exposure to obesogenic food drink, invest in early life. Yeah. Because we're seeing a huge problem coming from the children age group, the younger age group. Target health intervention to those at higher risk. Yeah. Increase responsibility of organization for health of their employees. Okay. Integration of action across ministries, authorities, and so on. Yeah. For that, we need to have clear governance. Okay. And we don't seem to have that so much. Yeah. And the other thing is that, as I say, we are champion of policy papers. We have plenty of policy papers. Yeah. But what is the problem, major problem that we find is that there's not enough policy evaluation done from time to time. Yeah. So this is important policy evaluation. We want to make sure the policy is effective, whether it's outdated. Because, if you, I don't know whether you will agree with me, but the field of nutrition is evolving, right? And it evolved like pretty much overnight. Yesterday, the information probably different. That today, overnight, you see one paper, one systematic review or meta-analysis comes out to say opposite. Yeah, literally overnight. Yeah, so it evolved. So we want to make sure this is evaluated from time to time as in accordance to the whatever the evolvement that we're seeing in the field of nutrition. All right. So in conclusion, we're not doing enough. Solution is probably not the best thing. Yeah. We need to have a lot of systematic change. Intervention must be at different level, and it has to be multidisciplinary, as I mentioned just now, and across the life course. Yeah. So we need to have what we call is like short-term, medium-term, long-term kind of long plans to make a change. Yeah. And this has to be with the most effective, most cost-efficient intervention. All right. So with that, I thank you. Sorry for taking time. And happy to
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Gita, for your presentation. Right. So, yeah, I think I would like you to be here for a while. So, yes, since you talk about being marriage is making you a bigger person, bigger in terms of
not me telling this,
the-
studies.
the studies, yes, of course. Because in Bahas, in Indonesia, you usually have menua bersama, grow all together,
Yeah.
but we're growing big together now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Old
menggendut
and-
bersama, right? When you're getting married, then you're menggendut bersama. And I
Grow
think
old and big
grow
together.
old and bigger together. Yeah, and I told Dr. Gita actually before that we have two different swimming pool, right? So I don't think UI is an obesogenic environment because you have lots of land to walk, to run, and to swim. Have you swim in UI? No. In what year you are right now? Fourth? Third year, and they haven't swim in OE. You have
And
six lakes.
you have Olympic size swimming pool.
Yes, the Olympic size
Yeah.
swimming pool in the
You can
Falfest Circuit.
Make use of these facilities.
Yes,
Right?
indeed. And we have 6 lakes.
Wow.
You can swim in the lakes as well. Yeah. Until you find fishes and something like that. Right.
Provided that you know how to swim.
At least. Yeah. Right. So guys, we have a chance one for 2 questions. Anyone want to raise questions? Any burning issues? Yes, Vincent. Anyone else? Yes, Tanya. Okay, so Vincent first.
Thank you for the chance. I'm Vincent from batch 2022. So actually, I have interest in, I've encountered a study that says how stress, psychological stress can impact on one's food choice, especially on the calorie dense food and the sugar intake. And um, while the higher sugar intake will also increase the obesity risk. And the question that I want to ask is stress a major role on obesity? And also with the additional factor of a cheaper, unhealthy food that available, and also um, how it is easy for us to access it. Um, Even when we already create that healthy food environment that you have presented before, uh, but the stress is still there, so people will still seek for the calorie dense food. So, yeah, that's the question. Is stress a major role on obesity, and is this factor contribute enough to be considered in one of the obesity prevention management?
Thank you. Very good question. Stress is definitely one of the risk factor. I didn't go in detail of the stress, yeah, but managing stress is important because stress can cause us to look for food that is pleasurable, right? What I mean pleasurable, that sweetness, that fattiness, yeah, in the food that makes us happy, yeah. So this can lead to overconsumption. And overconsumption is always reflected as higher in energy intake. So obesity is a matter of balancing your energy intake and energy expenditure. If you think you're stressed and you do physical activity, these are the people who can manage their energy balance very well. Yeah. But most of time, because we hardly do physical activity most of time, most of people, yeah. But then our energy intakes high. That is excess energy intake. And we're not talking about excess energy intake in 1 day or 2 days. This is a habitual thing that we do over a certain period of time. That can be ended up as in higher BMI level. Yeah. So stress is very important, even in the healthy environment. So when you take, for example, in certain country, where the healthy environment is very much, it's more available. Those are the countries where their stress management is also better. Yeah, they probably only work 8 to 5. After 5, they don't see their phone anymore. No WhatsApp after 5. No email after 5. If you email your staff after 5, you can be sued. Yeah, those are the companies. Those are the countries. Maybe it's much more healthy in a very big holistic level. Yeah. So these are the aspects of the thing. So stress is definitely one of it because we may overindulge ourselves when we are stressed. Yeah. So management of stress is very important. If you feel stressed, if you feel there's too much assignment, or Dr. Dina is giving you too much assignment, go for run, go for swimming. You got 6 legs here. Yes. Yeah. So management is very important with stress.
Okay, my name is Jessica Retanya, and I'm from batch 2021. First of all, I would like to thank you for your very comprehensive and detailed explanation.
Thank you.
So what I'm about to ask is, if I recall correctly, the plans, programs, and interventions you mentioned didn't include university students like us. So in your personal opinion, what do you think is the proper and effective intervention for us university students? Thank you.
Thank you. So, university student, very good. I didn't include in my slide because most of the universities in Malaysia were independent. I mean, we don't work. I mean, we are part of government, but we are statutory body. That means we have our own rules, our own regulation. The thing is, because it has got some independence, we don't have to really follow what the government don't really they don't really focuses on university students that much, because that's the reason why we don't have. But we do have guidelines for healthy canteen, yeah. But most of the time they don't follow anyway. That's why we see more obese cases in young youth, yeah, like you all as well. So what you can do as a university student is that, as I said, it's multifactorial, yeah. It's not that I cannot really dictate that, you have to eat healthily, but you don't do much physical activity. It may not work, yeah, may not work efficiently. Or even if you do you run, you go for 5 kilometer run or 10 kilometer run 3 days in a week, but then you eat as much as you want. Yeah, you eat so unhealthily also may not work. Yeah, so it's multifactorial, and it's the environment that we are living in. So you have make sure the energy balance. Yeah, and be mindful. Yeah, of what you're consuming. Be mindful. If you think you've been so sedentary, maybe it's time for you to move. Yeah, and if you think you have been because you're stressed, you've been eating, overindulging yourself with chocolates, cakes, and so on. Maybe it's time for you to reduce that, being more mindful, taking more smaller portions, and so on. So a lot of things of that. Managing stress, another thing, yeah, and go for a walk. Yeah, you don't have to run. If you don't like running, you go for a walk. And if you don't like walking, go for swimming. Do what you like as long as you move your body. Yeah. And if you want to stand in the lecture hall like this, please stand. Don't sit. If you think sitting is sedentary, stand. Yeah. You just excuse yourself. Dr. Dina, can I stand? I just want to move. I'm sure she will say, yeah, that's no problem. Yeah. Okay. And choose healthy food when you are eating outside. Maybe at home we eat more healthily, but when we go outside, the choices that we makes. We are actually, it's actually merely on your choices that you make. Yeah. So go for healthier choices. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, thank you so much, Vincent and Ray, and apologize for Gaga. I'm afraid I couldn't take any more questions. Maybe later on, yeah, we can ask Dr. Gita and Dr. G directly. So yeah, I totally agree. So those who run 5 to 10 kilos that actually can justify themselves. Okay, I'm eligible for nasi padang for 1 or 2 portion because I already run for 10K, for example. Yeah, and I really like your suggestion to sue those who are approaching you after 5 p.m. So those who are giving me any WhatsApp after 5 p.m., I'm gonna sue you. Okay? No, I never did that. They can text me anywhere, anytime, but I'm just gonna reply it later on the office hour. Okay? So I think we're reaching the very final time for our discussion today because we are afraid Dr. G and Dr. Gita needs to fly back to Malaysia this afternoon, yeah, 4 o'clock. And the traffic in Saturday might be unpredictable, so we gotta let them go. So give a round of applause for both of our guest lecturers. Wonderful presentation, and therefore I would like to invite Dr. G and Dr. Gita in the front, and of course Ibu Asi and Bu Trini to give the tokens of appreciation for both of our guest lecturers. So the first one is from Dr. G to Ibu Asi, yeah. Tokens. Okay, so this is a token from Dr. G to Ibu Asi. Give a round of applause, everyone. Big applause for both of them. So I think it marks, we can call it in silaturahim, yeah, between the University Kebangsaan Malaysia and Universitas Indonesia. And on the other way around, we give a token from UI to Dr. G. Okay, so this one is from the Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia to Dr. G. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, more applause, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. G and Ibu Asi. And the next one is a token exchange from Dr. Gita and Ibu Trini as the head of department. Okay, applause everyone. And the token is currently from UI to UPM to Dr. Gita. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so shall we have a group photo instead? Okay, so shall we have a group photo? Bu Dia, please. Bu Asi, Bu Trini. Dua kali, satu. Okay. So we'll have two poses. The first one is the guest and our respected lecturers in the front. And after that, we're going to have a selfie with the audience. Okay, so Jolene, come join. Bu Arifah, please. Ya, kamu masuk juga. Kenapa kita jadi berantem sih? You should be in the center, Dr. G and Dr. Gita. Okay. Is it balance? Yeah, balance lah ya. Okay, so in 1, 2, and 3. Yang sana ke sini satu. Oh, maksudnya apa geser ke sini? Oh, geser aja. One more, satu ke sana enggak? Udah, cukup. Katanya. Where should we put our eyes on? Oh, there. Thank you so much, everyone. So we're going to have a group photo so we can stand on the stage and we can have a selfie with the audience right over there. Ya, Putri ini naik, enggak kita naik nanti terus kita selfie gitu. Atau mau dari sini aja satu orang selfie ya? Oh, oke. With the students, so I think you guys can sit. Please have a seat, and we can have a group selfie. Like, which phone? Oh, okay. We have a photographer actually. Putri ini kita tuh. Guys, those who are in the left and right wings, if you want to be in the picture, you have to go to the center. Come on. All of you guys go to the center so everyone can be in the picture. Who wants to be umpel-umpelan with Bu Arifah, come closer ya. Ketularan pintar dari Bu Arifah, ketularan pintar dari para pembicara, boleh. Amin. Boleh 2-3 orang di depan nih cukup nih. Saya di samping Bu Trini. Yuk, yang ke atas nih depan sini. Guys, right over there. We still have spaces right over there. Come on. They become very enthusiastic when it comes to group photo, suddenly. Right, so if you can see the camera can see you in 1. Suddenly, quiet. 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Oh, one more with Dr. Gita's phone. Yeah, freestyle, guys. Okay. In freestyle, 1, 2, kacang bunci. Okay, nice. Thank you very much, everyone. Group photo done. I think I should give it to the MC actually. It's MC's job, Bu, to take pictures, yeah. Sorry, Olin. Right, so by the end of the presentation and group photo session, I would like to thank Dr. G and Dr. Gita for the recon presentation. And I would like to, I don't think I have a chance to hand it over to Olin. Olin is quite busy. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a fruitful information based on this seminar. And don't forget it after you go out from the door, yeah? Make the peer support to have a swimming group, maybe. Winfried, maybe you can lead the peer support, yeah? Right, so thank you very much, everyone. Maybe I can close it all in. Yeah, you do a great job. I would like to thank everyone who did a really good job. We have Denny and Rido for being dadakan cameraman. Please give a big applause for them. And Dea, Bagas, Agaga, and also Olin, our great MC. Everyone who support us, thank you very much indeed. Right, Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good weekend, everyone. Jangan lupa ambil snack ya teman-teman di luar.
Ya nanti.
Nanti.
Nomornya baru dapat.